All right, guys, we're about to get started here. I'm very excited about today's training. My name is Steve Lyman. I'm the founder and CEO of the sellsyndicate.com. If you haven't already grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil, you're going to want to go do that right now so that you can make sure that you take down some notes, because there are some things that you're going to definitely want to go back to and think about after this presentation. So certainly take down some notes. Also, let's take some time to be present. Let's learn as much as we possibly can. Put your phone on silent, turn it off so that you can stay present. You're going to want to make sure that you get the most out of this training if we're going to be spending some time here together. So today's title of today's training is Learn the 5 Principles this Father of 4 leveraged to make $225,000 in high-ticket sales commissions while working less than 20 hours a week from the golf course and without the hassle of cold calling or traveling. What? Yes, you guys, that was my year last year. It was awesome. I was able to kind of create a year and a life by leveraging specific skill sets that I believe anybody who's actually committed to actually going out there and can acquire and create themselves new, unique, awesome opportunities. So without further ado, you guys, we're going to hop into the training. I'm a big believer in obviously time. And so I want to make sure that the people that are on this training are here for the right reasons and that the right people are actually attending this training. So here's who this training is actually for. Are you working a ton of hours on a weekly basis? You're spending a ton of time at the office and don't really feel like you're getting your time to value, that's kind of off base. If you're spending a lot of time, this training is definitely for you. Do you feel like you're a road warrior, spending a lot of time in, metal tubes, 30,000 feet in the air, going to conferences, visiting clients? Maybe you're a local sales rep of some sort and you're spending your time, traveling or, on call on Sundays and meeting obviously with clients. If you're in the corporate space, do you feel like you're tired of the same voices on conference calls? Week in and week out with people with the same initiatives, the same comments, when nothing is actually really, getting done and you're just tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. This training is certainly for you. Do you feel like you're consistently missing your kids' games, recitals, not being present to the things that obviously matter most to you? Once again, this training is certainly going to be for you. Also, do you want a side hustle that has a better time to value exchange and location freedom? Maybe you're very passionate about what you do. Maybe you absolutely love your job, but just are wishing that you had something that you could make a couple extra $2,000, $3,000, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a week. Well, this is certainly going to be a training that you're going to want to pay attention to. Do you need revenue to fuel your entrepreneurial calling? Maybe you're a business owner. One of the toughest things about being a business owner, especially if you're working 9 to 5, all of a sudden kids come along and you're getting by paycheck to paycheck, and you've got these other goals and aspirations of, wanting to start a business, wanting to get out of like the 9 to 5, we'll call it rat race, but just don't have the time or the financial resources to be able to do it because you got to put food on the table. This training is certainly obviously going to be for you. Also, do you feel like you're undervalued for the worth of your services? What I mean by that is, do you really feel like you're getting compensated for your ability to be able to communicate with others? In other words, do you feel like you're great and you love people, you love communicating, but really don't feel like you're getting compensated correctly? Maybe it's not the company, maybe it's the position, maybe it's who knows, whatever it may be, but do you feel like there's got to be a better opportunity out there where you can make more money and leverage, once again, your ability to be able to communicate with others? Also, you maybe just, love the idea of closing and making sales. You guys, there's nothing funner and nothing more exhilarating than helping people move forward, whether it's in their business or their life or their goals or their personal development towards reaching their true potential and helping people take action, which equates to making or closing deals. Also, are you an internet marketer? Maybe you're in the marketing space and you feel like you've got 99 funnels, but making money isn't one of them. It's funny. I talk with internet marketers every day that they've got every software platform, they've got every funnel in place. They're studying up on the latest marketing and advertising trend, but just can't seem to put it all together to actually create income. They've got every big idea in the world, but there's no revenue that's actually following these ideas yet. This training is certainly for you. Do you feel like you're spending a ton of time from one shiny object to another? Have you been spending your time listening to Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, but just feel like you don't know specifically where to get started? You've got all the goals, you've got all the motivation, you get off one of Gary's, podcast and he's talking about, taking action and putting in the work and making it happen, but you just don't know exactly where to get started with the right opportunity. Guys, you're going to want to pay attention to this training. Do you feel like there is a key missing to your success that people have, but you just don't? Once again, this training is obviously for you. Also, this training is not going to be for everybody. I just want to make sure that that's crystal clear. Guys, I'll be totally honest. If you feel like the word sell is a 4-letter word, that anybody that could possibly take somebody's money for goods or services is sleazy, is a fast talker, and doesn't have any moral backbone, and you could never do it, I'm just going to go ahead and say this training is probably not for you. If you think it's wrong to make huge commissions while not being, quote unquote, a grinder or a hustler, this training is also not for you. Also, this training is not for people that think success is some sort of birthright, that you're born into it. It's just a ridiculous concept. This training, if that's your belief system, I understand. This training is probably not the best for you. Also, people that aren't willing to recognize that the only difference between you and successful people is that they have acquired specific skill sets and that you just simply don't have. That is the only difference. You guys, if this is recognizing with you, or if you're resonating with this and you feel like these are the kind of, if once again, if sales is a 4-letter word, or if you've got a problem with making, huge commissions for not putting in a ton of time, I'm going to venture to say this training is probably not for you. Here's why you guys should have big time FOMO though, you guys. It's kind of funny. You learn something as a father every day. My 12-year-old son said to me the other day, and I don't know why, I'd never heard of this acronym before, but he goes, "Dad, you got big time FOMO." And I was like, "FOMO? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, you got fear of missing out." And I was like, man, that is a great acronym. So as a nod to my son, Austin, I thought I would put that acronym in here. But here's why you guys are going to want to have big time FOMO. Here's why you do not want to miss out on this training. Because you're going to gain a new effective way of earning real commissions. On this training, you're going to be able to capitalize on new opportunities. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guidance from how to get your foot into the door into a marketplace that has huge, I'd say ridiculously huge demand. I'm going to give you concrete action items for how to work from anywhere that you have access to either Wi-Fi or your phone. Also at the end, you guys, I have a gift that I want to give to you, so you're going to want to pay attention, stick with me down to the very end. Other than the fact that the awesome content that I have to give to you over the next couple minutes here, I also have a gift. So my commitment to you guys is this. First and foremost, I'm going to map out exactly how I was able to reach my goal last year: make awesome sales commissions, create a work day by design where I was able to golf, I was able to make awesome sales commissions, I was able to pick my kids up at 3 o'clock every day from school. And my commitment, once again, is to map out specifically how I did that, so that if that resonates with you and you feel like, man, that's exactly what I want to see have happen in my life, then by all means, you'll have the game plan to be able to do it for you. Also, guys, I'm just going to keep it 100%. I've had some ups and downs. I've had some awesome successes. I've had some failures. If you want me to post a picture of me by a Ferrari that I rented to make you feel like I know what I'm talking about, I'm sure I'm happy to do that, but I'm just going to put a lot of the bullshit aside and keep it 100% here on this training here today. So, question for you. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I still in the same sales job? It is such a drag. You ever asked yourself, am I really getting paid what I'm worth? Do I really need to drive all the way into work to be able to get this work done? You ever ask yourself, will I ever have the time and money to work on my own business? Are there really opportunities out there where all I have to do is close deals and I'm going to add make awesome commissions? Well, you guys, we've got some awesome and some good news here to go over with you today. There's another way. Once you have these 5 principles, you're going to be able to take advantage of new opportunities and capitalize on your ability to successfully communicate with others. With these 5 principles, You're going to see the abundance of opportunities everywhere. You're going to feel renewed as a sales professional. You're going to feel confident wielding your skills to net results. You're going to be able to create a plan to quit the corporate life. Hello, flip-flops. That's right. Anybody that wants to wear a suit every day the rest of their life, you guys has got something wrong with them, or even a shirt and tie, for heaven's sakes. With these 5 principles, you're going to be able to situate yourself for success that you've always dreamed out. And by all means, you're going to want to scream out loud, why in the hell didn't I know about this already? Without a doubt. So who am I, you guys? Once again, I introduced myself at the beginning of the call. My name is Steve Lyman. What I'm most proud of is being a loyal husband, a father. I've got 4 amazing kids, a beautiful wife. I've helped build 3 different multi-million-dollar businesses before starting the Sell Syndicate. And I've trained hundreds of people on how to sell $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 high-ticket packages and make awesome sales commissions. I've helped build a software consulting business with 0 customers to $85,000 a month within 18 months. So a little bit about me, you guys. Also, I said that I was going to keep it 100%. You're probably doing some math here. Well, $250,000 a year, Steve, in sales commissions. You've had a lot of success with multi-million-dollar businesses. After I sold my last business, you guys, my wife has been with me through thick and thin as an entrepreneur. We've had some major ups, we've had some major downs, and she started to have a ton of success as an entrepreneur herself. And so, she said, man, I'd really love for you to kind of jump on board with me this time and go help me. So for the last actually 3 years, you guys, I've been actually working with my wife, helping her to grow and build her business. And we've been blessed to get it to a point where she does awesome financially. Our business together does very, very well. But anytime you're a married guy with 4 kids under 11 and you're working from home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together, at some point you say to yourself, man, I got to get out of the house once in a while. So I said to myself, boy, I've got this awesome business with my wife. We're making really, really good money, but I want something that I can get out of the house and do again. I was getting a little antsy after selling my last business. So I entered back into the marketplace, and I wanted to leverage the one thing that I just absolutely love doing, and I love training other people on how to do. And that's leveraging my ability or my skill set to do high ticket sales. So when I got back into the marketplace this last year, or decided to jump back into the marketing world, that was what happened this last year. I got a sales gig. I leveraged my sales experience, and I was able to make awesome sales commissions working, like I said, less than 20 hours a week. Also, you guys, I said I was going to keep it 100% here, you guys. I'll just be totally honest. In school, I was a C student at best. There's been times where I've struggled with depression. At one point, I was a little bit concerned that I was going to, lose my marriage. I've had some really tough times. I mean, there's some more important things out there in life than obviously success and making money. And when you get to that point where you feel like you're going to lose everything, it's a pretty depressing day. In business, even, man, I've had my ass handed to me. I spent 10 years building a multi-million-dollar business and was sued and lost every dime that I had. One of the pretty depressing day, I had a Mercedes-Benz CLS 550 and an Escalade that was repossessed all in the same day. Yeah, I've had some pretty embarrassing and also some humbling experiences in my life. And like a lot of people, I've had the thoughts run through my head, do I really have what it takes to be successful? Listen, guys, here's the deal. We all have a story. We all have a background. We all have stuff that goes through our head. What I've learned about being an entrepreneur is that the reason why people are a success in life or in business or whatever it is that they're doing, it has to do with their ability to control the 4 inches between their ears. It's not about what you've been through. It's not about your past. It's about what you're doing moving, obviously, forward. So, you guys, let's put away our stories. Let's table that. And let's talk about the future and what we can obviously accomplish. So let's bring the heat and let's get into the 5 principles that I used to make $225,000 this last year working, once again, less than 20 hours a week from the golf course. Let's jump into things. Okay, guys, let's get into principle number one, align to your purpose. Now, I know you guys, there's a couple of you guys are thinking that as well, no woo-woo, no personal development. You guys, this is probably one of the most important concepts that I could actually talk with you about today, you guys. And the reasoning behind it is because I've learned from experience when you're not truly in alignment with like who you are, the products or services that you're actually selling, there's no way that you're going to be able to reach your full potential, not only professionally, but personally, spiritually, all aspects of your life. It is without a doubt effective. I've learned that in business, it's almost like a chiropractor. When there's just a little thing kind of off, within your body, it can have all of these other long-term effects, like your hip will start hurting, or for heaven's sakes, being out of alignment, your foot will start hurting. So when you're not truly in alignment, professionally in what you're actually doing, in life or as a sales rep or whatever it is that you're actually doing, if it's not truly in alignment with what you're actually doing, you may not see the effects today. You may not see the effects tomorrow, but eventually it's going to come up. So aligning yourself with purpose, you guys, is probably one of the most important concepts or aspects that I could go over here with you. Let me give you a little bit more clarity. When you align with purpose, you stop buying into this hustle and grind mentality. So many, gurus and people out there talking about like, work, 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 work. That's the only way that you're going to be successful. Listen, you guys, hard work is important. It's important to life. It's important to into your soul. It's important to obviously, who you are. But if you don't have balance, and if you're under the impression that, that hard work, that you can run in sprints and then take time off and then run in sprints and still be able to make awesome revenue, it's just simply not the case. You're out of alignment if you feel like it is. Also, when you're in alignment, being a good sales rep or a good salesperson doesn't exactly have to mean a corporate life sentence. What happens sometimes, somebody's good at communicating, they're good at sales, and they'll go, work for a company, whether they're selling insurance or, who knows, and they'll get stuck in this situation where they're making pretty good money, but not awesome money. I had this kind of experience the other day where, I was at a golf course. I probably should have been working. I do have some distractions in my life. And I got paired up with this guy, and he sold cars, and he worked for a Cadillac dealership. So obviously, being me, I'm going to be a bit nosy, and I'm going to ask people questions. I want to get to know people. I want to connect. And started asking him about what he was doing. And I was like, so tell me about your work schedule. Tell me about your life schedule. And he was like, yeah, man, I mean, pretty much I work every day. He goes, except Sundays, or I think it was Mondays. I think he had to work on Sundays because that was a big day for obviously for sales. And so I was like, okay, so you got Monday off, and then your golf Monday and kind of hang out. I'm like, how many hours a week are you working? He's like, well, typically it's about like 70 hours a week, but at the end of the month when we've got to hit numbers, it's almost like 80. And I was like, oh my gosh, just because you're good at sales and you're making $140,000 a year, and because now this individual was a divorce with a kid and had to pay child support to make sure that his ex was actually, taken care of, he didn't have the time or the ability to go move on to something else. He had to stay in this, I would venture to say this crap situation selling cars, even though he was making okay money, but it was a death sentence to him, man. I mean, I left the golf course just feeling, awful. Once you truly align with purpose, those golden handcuffs really no longer fit. There is another way. Let me ask you a question. Do you truly feel like you've got a moral obligation to sell your products and services? Listen, you guys, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've sold goods and services to people where I was like, I'm not quite sure this is necessarily the best fit for the person. But because I was driven and I wanted to make sales and I wanted to make the company obviously happy, I went through and obviously made the sell. And, looking back at it, I truly wasn't in alignment with who I was, what I was about, and it created issues, right? I've also been on the other side of the fence, you guys, where I've sold goods and services to people that had specific problems within their business or within their life that the products and services that I had to be able to offer them I knew without a doubt, 110% with all my heart, would help them to be able to reach their goal. And I felt like it was my responsibility to make sure that I took that person's money to help them to take action towards their goals. Nothing is more empowering than helping people make the necessary steps to create momentum within their life and within your business. When you find that opportunity, you can truly create not only just awesome revenue, but when you're truly in line with who you are as well, is when it affects every aspect of obviously your life. So let's jump into principle number 2, debunking this 9-to-5 myth. Okay, debunking the 9-to-5 myth. We've all been told the only way to get ahead in sales or business or profession is to make more cold calls, stay late, follow up with more leads, work weekends. To be honest, we've been lied to. In the last 6 years, there has been a massive shift in the way that businesses are growing. Businesses are able to generate so many leads through new media platforms that they have created a huge demand for people who know how to sell and know how to sell high ticket products, potentially people like you. So I want to get into some more detail on exactly what I mean by, high ticket sales and what I mean by the actual, the industries that I'm talking about. I want to open up the curtain here and give you guys some clarity. Some of this stuff you may be already familiar with. Some of this might be kind of a new world, but I want to give you a clarity as far as what's actually happening within the marketplace and why the opportunity is actually so big. So everybody's familiar with social media. We've all got, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, accounts. The reality is, you guys, this stuff has been around for 8 years. It hasn't been around very, very long. The way that businesses and big corporations move, it's typically very slowly. You don't know how, there are still millions upon millions of dollars still spent on, newsletters, still millions of dollars spent on newspapers, radio ads. There's still millions of dollars spent on, billboards. There's still millions of dollars spent on TV. But businesses are getting smarter, and it's easier to move a lot of their marketing budget to these social media marketing platforms. In 2017 on Facebook, there was 2 billion users. 2017 on YouTube, 1.5, Instagram, 700 million, and so on and so forth. What's happened over the last 7 to 8 years is social media has completely changed the game for businesses as to how they're able to spend marketing dollars and acquire customers cheaper, more effective, and it's completely changing how they're actually doing business. Okay, so let's go over the new way of funnel marketing. You guys, what's happening within the market space is a little bit different 8 years ago when Facebook and Instagram, first came out. The marketing space that we were able to spend 2 cents on like campaigns and acquire, for $2, a $32, somebody that bought a $32 product. It was really the heydays of social media marketing and lead generation. What's happening is that the market has gotten smarter and smarter about, social media marketing platforms, and more businesses are spending more and more money on obviously these platforms. But marketing and software is getting better and better about educating potential prospects for businesses. We've got social media marketing platforms that are driving in all of these actual leads and interesting prospects. We've got new and improved software platforms like ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Infusionsoft, HubSpot to be able to collect these people's contact information. And what's really important is principle number 3, and why this matters to really a sales professional is because within the new way of funnel marketing, businesses are able to really educate prospects way clearer and way better about their potential services and offers through like webinars, video trainings, case studies, PDFs, swipe files. The businesses are able to obviously continue to email, market, and advertise back to the customer base. But what's happening is because so many businesses are moving towards social media marketing, what's happening within the marketplace is it's becoming way more competitive. Now what's actually happening is in order to acquire that $32 client, businesses are having to spend $32 and $40 and $50 to even acquire that company. Well, you're like, well, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Well, here's the reality, you guys, is that businesses kind of recognize that the person who wins at marketing and advertising is the person that actually can spend the most amount of money. So they're willing to go into the back. In other words, they're willing to go into the hole to acquire a client negative just in order to be able to acquire a client to sell them additional higher ticket services and products. Now, here's where the real unique opportunity obviously comes in for people who understand or have the skill set to be able to perform high ticket sales. Because so many businesses are moving towards this higher ticket sales mentality or products or service they're offering and selling 20% of their clientele base a $5,000 and $10,000 and $20,000 product. That's how they're really actually making money as a business. So what's happening is because all of that can't be really delivered digitally, there's really nobody that's going to purchase, a $5,000, a $10,000, a $20,000, product without ever actually speaking to somebody or having a conversation where somebody's resolving some concerns, discussing the product, for them, how it helps them, how it serves what their goals or needs obviously are. And so there's created this huge demand for people who understand how to do high ticket sales. And what's crazy about the space right now is that there's so few amount of people who are actually good at jumping on the phone, having a strategic conversation, in a 45-minute conversation, being able to sell somebody a $5,000 and $10,000 and $15,000 product and get paid an awesome commission. There's just not a lot of people out there that actually understand how to be able to do that. That's why the opportunity is so huge, because the way that social media is flooding the marketplace for businesses, leads are able to be created so much easier. Businesses are creating and generating way more leads, but they have to monetize that data with some sort of high ticket sell, and the lack are people who understand how to be able to actually do that. That is what's happening within the marketplace right now. So, who uses these processes? What industries, that are making billions of dollars? The coaching business, the coaching industry. The coaching industry is a $9.9 billion business. With college just being kind of a debacle nowadays, where you go into debt $250,000, and you get out of school and you're, 5 years behind what everybody else actually is, that sometimes that diploma is obviously worth it. Now, listen, I get it. If you're going to be an attorney or a doctor or stuff like that, universities are obviously very, very important to key people like that. But the reality is that more and more people are kind of recognizing that they're wanting to go towards people who have already been there and done exactly what it is that they're actually looking to accomplish. They're looking for experts within the space. And that's what's really blown up the coaching industry. I mean, there's coaches for health coaches. There's relationship coaches. There's business coaches. There's marketing coaches. There's literally a coaching expert out there for every industry, for every niche, all of which at the end of the day require typically some sort of high ticket, at least some sort of sales conversation in order for that customer to be able to actually purchase their services and products. Software, SaaS software companies, are moving towards this model where they're selling high ticket services and products, obviously, to businesses. In 2020, it's going to be a $130 billion business. The agency model, guys, I've worked with a ton of agencies over the course of the last 3 years. They're able to generate interested prospects of businesses that are interested in their marketing services. But 99% of the time, their bottleneck is always that they just don't have the time, and they don't have somebody good that's actually willing to get on the phone with them, with their potential, with all of these leads that are actually coming in, and close and sell to be able to make awesome commissions because of the lack of talent that's actually out there. Publishing companies, marketing funnel companies, companies that are selling marketing services and products to businesses all require some sort of high ticket sales. Let me just give you kind of an example, you guys. This took me about 2 minutes, you guys. I went online. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this training here. It took me about 2 minutes, and I grabbed a couple screen shares of people that are just posting for looking for people. This one in the upper right hand corner: set your own hours, work from anywhere that has Wi-Fi. I've got a huge pool of agency owners desperate to help take inbound sales calls. There are leads booked straight into your calendar, no cold calling. This one at the upper left here: I'm looking for a good salesperson who can handle fresh buyer leads. This one on the bottom right: second sales pro because the first one booked solid, making $2,000 to $3,000 a week, position enrollment coach. I mean, guys, you know, because of the way marketing and advertising is actually working and businesses are able to generate more and more leads, the lack of skill set for somebody who understands how to perform high ticket sales, when you have that skill set with the way that the market is moving, you'll never lack for opportunity of creating awesome revenue. So, debunking the find my myths. But Steve, how didn't I know about this already before? How haven't I taken advantage, of this marketplace? Well, it's because that you haven't been taught how to close over the phone and position yourself as someone that these companies should hire. The reality is that these businesses are spending a lot of time and money acquiring these leads. Even though the opportunity is so big, they don't want to just turn these leads over to anybody. They want to make sure that that person has the skill set and knows how to be able to jump on the phone and close deals for them as a business, and for doing so are willing to pay awesome commissions. So the major gap here, you guys, is just the fact that as long as you have that skill set and you know exactly how to be able to perform a high ticket sales presentation, the opportunities are really endless. Let me give you kind of an example here. Here's a buddy of mine here, Jeremy, that I helped place in a position. Jeremy is a father of five. He's a busy guy in Arizona. He came from the insurance agency. I think he was selling like car insurance. I mean, this guy, he's awesome at communicating with people. Loves working with other people. He's passionate about what he does. But really, it just wasn't creating the kind of lifestyle with having a bunch of kids. And we helped place him in a sales position, and he was working this last year, about 30 hours a week, and was able to make $185,000 this last year in sales commissions, while being able to then spend more time with his family and work on some of his other, obviously, interests. I'll give you another example. Here's Jason. Jason here is a future entrepreneur. He's working on his business. He's been in the sales industry his whole life, doing a lot of traveling and different things like that. He lives in Ohio. He's got a few kids. This past year, worked 25 hours a week. It was able to make $130K this last year in sales commission. We helped him put him in a sales position to be able to do that. And now he's got not only the financial income coming in. I mean, he's not making millions, but at the same time, it's better than $60,000 a year working, 60 hours a week like he was, right? And now he's got the time and the extra income to be able to really double down on what he's passionate about, which is starting a marketing company that's actually working on now. So principle number 3, you guys, keeping it simple. You guys, I love this quote here by Richard Branson. Complexity is your enemy. Any fool can make it complicated. It's hard to keep things simple. What I love about like the high ticket sales industry, and once you have that skill set of being able to perform high ticket sales, is that the simplicity in which of what you need to actually be successful is extremely simple. I mean, guys, within the high ticket sales industry, literally, this was my year this last year. I woke up every morning at 6:30, woke up, got dressed, made my kids breakfast, got my kids to school. I dropped them off. Like I said, my wife's an entrepreneur too, so she would help, but she's also really busy. I'd take my kids to the school every morning. I'd make sure that my golf clubs were in the back of my car. I would drive to the country club, and depending on what I had that day as far as the amount of appointments, typically I'd have about 3 or 4 appointments, but basically I'd be at the golf course from about 9 o'clock in the morning until about 2:30 in the afternoon, which is when my kids got out of school. So in between sales presentations, all I had to make sure that I had on me was my laptop and a phone to be able to jump on the phone in between hitting a bucket of balls or going and playing 9 and close and make sales, right? And then I was out by 3. I was able to set my calendar when I wanted to be able to actually field calls, and then the rest of the day was obviously myself. So, keeping it simple, you guys, really all you need once you have that skill set is obviously, access to Wi-Fi, once again, either the phone or the internet to be able to actually communicate with prospects. And then you can work from anywhere that obviously has Wi-Fi access, whether that's on the golf course or whatever you're actually into. Okay, let me just give you kind of an example of my last year, you guys. I took a couple, screen captures here of commissions this last year, I billed the business that I was working with this last year every other week. So over a 2 week period of time, $10,000. Over a 2 week period of time, $16,000. Over a 2 week period of time, $19,000, almost $10,000, each week in sales commissions. It's pretty good. 13 and then 7. I know there's a couple smart Alex here that are saying, well, $2,000, this $4,200, $2,000 a week isn't very good, Steve. Well, guys, I made $4,200 over a 2 week period of time when I took my family to Hawaii. So while we were visiting friends in Hawaii who recently moved there, I made sales calls. I worked for a couple hours really, really early in the morning because of the time difference, and was able to make $4,200. It paid for our entire trip, and basically worked a couple hours in the morning. And the rest of my time was spent at the beach, having fun, doing hikes, and doing everything that obviously Hawaii obviously has to offer. So, awesome 2 weeks, cash flow. As you can obviously imagine, for some of you guys that have other businesses or goals, putting yourself in that kind of situation to be able to receive those kind of sales commissions would be, once again, obviously huge. So keeping it simple, you guys, it's about spending less time, doing what you don't want to do. Things like following up, time selling, traffic and traveling, constantly cold calling and prospecting. One of the great things about understanding how to be able to do high ticket sales and where the marketplace actually is because technology is actually educating these prospects, for these different industries so well that by the time they're actually getting on the phone with them, they're kind of at a point where they're ready to make some decisions. So I speak with, sales, people in different sales, opportunities all the time. And they're just like, man, I've got such a long follow-up sequence, or I'm spending 2 or 3 days and 2 or 3 weeks sending out proposals and hoping that the client obviously takes action towards, signing up for my services and products. What I love about being a high ticket closer, you guys, is that by the time somebody ends up booking a scheduled call with you, they're really at a point where they're ready to make some decisions. Not a ton of follow-up, not a lot of, sending out proposals, not a lot of sending out emails. It's having one short 45-minute presentation and helping them to take action towards their goals. Keeping it simple, you've got more time to be able to enjoy obviously what you do. Better commissions, better leads, better location by keeping it simple. By keeping it simple, you can learn how to close the deal, and you will always be around to create amazing commissions. Don't get stuck in your current way of making a living in sales. Guys, once you have that knowledge, once you have that expertise, you know how to make high ticket sales. There's so much opportunity obviously out there, and there are simple things that you need to have to be successful. It's not complicated, and very excited about those potentials. Okay, guys, I think that we're understanding the concept of keeping it simple. Let's move forward to principle number 4. I'm really excited to be able to go over with you the syndicate system. You guys, we've talked about this, the old approach to making money in the sales industry. It's only if I wake up earlier, if only I make more, more calls, if only I work weekend, if only. There's always this, carrot dangling to be able to reach our goals. It just simply isn't the case, you guys. What I'm going to go over here with you guys, the syndicate system, you guys, is a 4-step process that you've got to acquire in order to be able to make high ticket sales commissions. Step number 1 is obviously having an industry awareness. Step number 2 is high ticket mindset. Step number 3 is knowing how to do high ticket sales. And the 4th step is obviously finding an epic opportunity. These are really the 4 steps that I had to go through this last year in order to be able to make $225,000 a year in high ticket sales commission. So let's dive into more about what I mean by that. Step number 1 is obviously industry awareness. You've got to have a basic understanding of where to go and find, which has to do with number 4, finding an epic opportunity. Industry awareness is about knowing enough about the industries that you're actually going to be working within to be able to sell high ticket sales. Now, I want to make a point here, you guys. Notice that I didn't say industry pro or industry expert. I said industry awareness. You've got to know what businesses are actually moving towards this new marketing funnel process that are actually using social media platforms, ClickFunnels, email marketing, webinars, and videos so that you can capitalize on those businesses that are in drastic need of high ticket sales. So it's knowing exactly where to look. What groups are they hanging out? What groups are they hanging out in? And knowing enough about those particular industries where you can actually perform high ticket sales for them. And once again, I want to point out, you guys, I didn't say industry pro. I'll give you kind of an example. Years ago, I used to sell real estate investing to people. This was before I had even actually purchased my first home. And I was the top producer in the actual company. So how is somebody that's selling real estate coaching, who's never actually bought, a piece of real estate yet, is actually the number one sales rep? Well, obviously, you guys, I had an intention. I went on to obviously purchase homes, multiple houses. But the reality is that I didn't have to be an expert within that space. I needed to understand enough about the people that were coming in, what their goals and desires were, and what the business that I was actually working with provided to them to actually help them to reach their goals. Those were the basic industry awarenesses that I needed to know enough about, and I was able to take my high-ticket skill set to that industry awareness and make awesome sales commissions. So it's not about being a pro, you guys. It's just about where these industries actually are and what businesses are using marketing and advertising, and knowing enough to be able to make high ticket sales is really step number one. The second step is having a high ticket mindset, you guys. I love kind of like the doctor's analogy. The doctor's office is like any other business, that we ever interact with. We go in, we fill out some information. They tell us to sit on the couch, and then we go back and see the doctor, and then they slap us with a bill. Any other business, we go in, we check out their product, they tell us what the price is, and then we kind of decide whether or not we want to purchase. Well, having a high ticket mindset is kind of like a doctor's office. It's by the time these people are actually coming towards us and booking calls with us as high ticket salespeople, we know that they're already on the phone because they've got a problem that they need to solve, and we're there to help them to obviously solve it. It's not about the money. It's about them getting towards where they need to be at. It's having that doctor's framework. We're the expert. We're the one that's going to obviously be there to help them to be able to reach their goals. The second side to having a high ticket mindset is, believe in investing into yourself, you guys. I wouldn't be so good at performing high ticket sales if I didn't believe in the services and products that I was actually offering, because I'd actually invested into some of them myself. Years ago when I lost a business that I told you guys about earlier, the year that I did that is probably one of the years that I spent the most amount of money on credit cards for training than I ever had in my entire life, because I knew that I needed to get back to where I wanted to go fast, and I needed somebody's help to be able to do it. I spent 10 grand on 2 credit cards that my wife didn't even know that I had to learn marketing and advertising that led me into the last business that I had actually launched. So I have that high ticket, mindset where I believe that by investing into yourself to be able to reach your goals, it's a necessity to find the right people to be able to, or the right businesses to be able to do it. So when I get on the phone and I ask somebody to take action towards their goals and invest into themselves, I'm not thinking to myself, boy, this is nerve-wracking or scary and all those kind of things. I know it is because I've already done it. But I know that by not doing it leaves themselves in the same situation. So my goal or my responsibility is to help them move forward to what their goals are. That's having a high ticket mindset. Step number 3 is obviously the high ticket sales process. There's some basic structure towards a high ticket sales presentation. Some people will say all you have to have is the basic structure, but the people that are great at making high ticket sales commissions and are constantly, being sought after to be able to do their high ticket sales are people that really get into the trenches on the intricacies of how to be able to ask questions. But there's a basic format, you guys. Step number 1 is obviously connecting. Step number 2 is knowing how to be able to frame the conversation. Step number 3 is asking really good questions, finding out about where they're at. Step number 4, finding out where they want to be at, what their goals are. Step number 5, committing them to actually doing something about their goals. Step number 6 is presenting them a solution. How the business that you're actually working with can actually help them to reach their goals. And step number 7 is closing them on moving forward towards their goals. That's the basic framework. But the rock stars in the high ticket sales industry are people that really geek out on the intricacies of how to really be able to serve people the best. So we teach that within the high ticket sales, within the syndicate system. But the third step was having that high ticket sales framework. The next step is obviously finding an epic opportunity, right? So once we have, the basic, once we have industry awareness, once we've got the right mindset, and once we have the skill sets, to perform high ticket sales, the last step is really finding an epic opportunity. It's knowing who to network with, what groups that these business owners hang out with, who to be able to actually reach out to, and how to position yourself within the marketplace as somebody who definitely knows exactly how to close high ticket sales and why those businesses want to entrust you with their expensive leads, but also willing to pay you awesome commissions if you can perform. So the third step is I needed to know how to position myself within the marketplace to go out there and find an opportunity. That's what we teach our clients how to do within the syndicate system. So the syndicate system, why learn the syndicate system? Well, number one, you gain a new skill set to make amazing commissions. You're going to be able to create your own flexible schedule. You're going to be able to work from anywhere, with internet access. You're going to be able to shed the golden handcuffs, and you're going to have the time and financial freedom to be able to start working on your own business. Okay, guys, principle number 5, learn from the best. Guys, I would say that 95% of the time, if you were to go out there and ask, somebody that either online or even a neighborhood or a family friend that's had a ton of success, and you asked them, what were some of the key things that you did early on in your career to have the kind of success that you have right now? And I'm a betting person. I would bet to say that they would tell you that they found somebody early on that knew exactly how to get to where they wanted to be at, and they coached or they mentored with them. It's been the same thing, obviously, with me, you guys. My wife and I constantly invest to this day into coaching, training, support, into helping us to get to where we wanted to be. In the early days when I didn't have the money, I invested into myself. Even in the early days, I had a mentor really spend a ton of time with me, teaching me exactly how to do high ticket sales. Learning obviously from the best, you guys, can do a ton of things for you. It's going to save yourself time, money, learning from obviously years of experience. The reason why people get help is to get to a point in 3 months. It may take them 2 years to go out there and figure out on their own. They can eventually do it without a doubt, but by working with a coach or a mentor or somebody that knows exactly what they're doing will help them get there that much faster. Second of all, you'll gain the confidence that you need to close deals. Learning from the best, you can be guided in how to tap into the reservoir of opportunity. And number 4, learn the best practices to get yourself hired. Listen, you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't think, without a doubt, hands down, I am the best within the space when it comes to teaching people how to do high ticket sales. Period. But listen, if it's not me, if I don't, if you don't, jam with my mentality, or my voice bugs you, or if it's something about me that you don't feel like is the right fit, listen, I totally get it. But if you're going to capitalize on this marketplace, please go find somebody else who knows exactly how to get to where you want to be. My commitment to you, as I promised, so far you've learned, there are an unimaginable number of opportunities within the marketplace for salespeople. The opportunities are endless. And you don't have to sacrifice all of your time just to make an average commission. This idea, once again, of hustling and grinding and putting a ton of hours into the office space simply isn't the case. I did it working 20 hours a week from the golf course. I made great sales commissions. So here's kind of the path that you guys need for success here. Okay, first and foremost, just to kind of recap, you need to align with your purpose. Let's get a little gritty here. If there's things out of line with who you are or what's going on within your business, and it's not a truly aligning, you're not going to have true success. Step number 2 is debunking or getting rid of this 9 to 5, grind mentality that you've got to spend a ton of hours, obviously, at the office. You've got to figure out a system and a process to be able to keep it simple and easy and replicable. And the fourth one is the syndicate system, implementing and understanding exactly how, industry awareness, high ticket mindset, how to actually do high ticket sales. And then the fourth one is obviously finding an epic opportunity. And the fourth one is obviously learning from the best. That is the path that you need to implement this year for you, for your life, for your business, if you want to get involved within the awesome opportunity of high ticket sales. So you've really got a choice here, guys. Some of you on the sales guy, man, this Steve guy's kind of bugging me here, not interested. There's no way in the world that I could do high ticket sales. I still think that all salespeople are kind of greasy and, there's nothing good about them. I'm just not interested. I'm going to exit. Totally get it. Best of luck. Hope that, wish you the best in life. Really do. Truly, honestly do. Some of you are obviously saying, you know what, this is awesome. There is a ton of opportunity obviously out there. I'm going to go put my toe in the water. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to take a stab at this on my own. To you as well, best of luck. Hope you're able to create the kind of success and momentum that obviously you want to be able to create. The third option is obviously the fast track option, right? It's working with us within the sales syndicate, teaching you exactly how to go out there and find an awesome opportunity, and implementing high ticket sales is the third choice. So here's how I can help you guys. If you want to learn more on how to spend less time in the office and make more money, let's jump on a call. I can help you set up a plan to fast track you to making huge commissions, and the cost is absolutely free. This is my gift to you guys. I want to take some time. I've allocated some time over the course of the next 3 days to set aside about 45 minutes to have a conversation with you and see if you're the best possible fit to be a high ticket salesperson. And as you can tell here, you guys on this training, there's not a ton of BS about me. I'm going to tell you how it is. If I think that you can do it, I will. If I don't, I will. But at least you'll be able to explore that opportunity. So let's set up the call now. It's 100% free. Defining a sales opportunity that you can leverage your time and skill set more effectively. Set up the call now if you're wondering how you can hustle less and make more money. Set up the call if you're done working weekends, spending more time with your family. Set up the call right away if you've always loved competition and have a good time doing it. One of the things I love about sales, you guys, is being in environments where you're competing. It's not about the commission sometimes. It's not about the money and the fact that you're able to spend a lot of time with family. It's also that need to compete still. I love that aspect. So listen, save yourself some time, you guys, and don't set up the call if this is what's going on. If you're not open to new ways of doing something, save yourself some time. If you think working 80 hours a week is your deal and there's nobility in that, that's fine. This is probably not for you. If you think long hours and hard work is the only way to make quote unquote an honest living, the syndicate system's not for you. And if you enjoy a daily 2-hour commute, you enjoy your iPad, your books on tape, then by all means keep doing what you're doing. If you don't work well in a team environment, guys, the reality of being a high ticket sales is having to interact with obviously the businesses and the environment that you're working with. If you don't love camaraderie, if you don't love competition, you're probably not a good fit. So listen, stop trading dollars for hours. Put yourself in a situation where you can make real money in half the time you're already spending at the office. Click on the button below and schedule the call right away. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And like I said before, the call is absolutely free. On this call, I want to map out your step-by-step plan on how you can start using the syndicate system to capitalize on this amazing marketplace that is just getting bigger and bigger. So you may be asking yourself, well, Steve, why are you doing this? Yeah, right? Why are you so willing to set aside your time and obviously, helping somebody to see whether or not, they're a good fit? You guys, the reality is that my wife and I's business does already really, really well. The syndicate system is going to be successful. It's going to make money. But at the end of the day, you guys, I felt like I had a moral obligation to start the syndicate system. I really do. And here's kind of what happened, you guys. Don't want to get choked up or anything like that, but I'd been going to this local pizza place, okay, and I'd been thinking about the syndicate system, and I've been thinking about these sales commissions that I had been making over the course of the last year. And, I was just like, man, this is freaking awesome. I don't know why more and more people aren't doing this. And on a Friday, I went to go pick up a pizza from this Papa John's, or I can't remember what it's called, pizza place for my kids on a Friday night. And the manager was there and I was like, hey, what's up, man? I recognize you from the local gym that we go to. And we started kind of, chatting and creating kind of a friendship. The following, a couple weeks later, I was in there on a Friday night to pick up a pizza for my kids as my wife and I were going out on a date. And we started to kind of jam a little bit more. And here's this like really outgoing guy that had a lot of personal interacting, skill set. And it's not adding up. I'm like, why the heck is this dude working at a pizza place, right? So started to kind of jam with him, and he kind of told me about his story. He's like, I've got 3 kids. He goes, I work another job during the day. It's a good job. It's, within a family business, but it's not paying me anywhere near what I want to be, what I need to be making with, all of my kids and school and stuff like that. So I work at Papa John's at night. I'm like, well, dude, when are you seeing your family? He goes, I see my family on Sunday nights. And I left that pizza place just like totally depressed. I went from excited to go on this date with my wife to, delivering this pizza to my kids. And I was like, and I spent the whole entire week like thinking about this conversation. And, I was having all of these conversations like, well, am I just amazing, at sales? And that's why I got so lucky. Am I just good at working with people? And so that's why I'm in the position that I'm in, why me and not this guy? And I had this real strong epiphany, this thought that came to my head and goes, no, dude, stop being a knucklehead. The only difference between you and that guy is the fact that you've acquired some skill set that allows you to be able to trade, to make better money for your time than what he's actually doing. That's it. You're not more personable than him. People don't like you more than him. It's just the fact that you've got one specific skill set. So guys, the reason that I launched the syndicate system is because I feel like I've got an obligation to help people put themselves in a better situation to create better revenue with time freedom. And that's why I launched the syndicate system. So listen, if you're ready to jump on a call, let's schedule a call today. As you can see, there is a link at the bottom of the page where you can book a call with me over the course of the next couple of days. I'll spend about 45 minutes and really map out a game plan whether or not you're the best fit. If you are, great. I'd love to be able to help you to create a game plan. If you're not, no harm done. So schedule the call today, you guys. I look forward to meeting some of you guys that are actually participating, that have participated on the training here today. For some of you guys that had exited, that thought that sales and all that kind of stuff isn't obviously for you. Once again, heartfelt, wish you guys the best luck in everything that you're doing. But for some of you guys that are going to book a call, truly excited to help you guys to put together a game plan that can once again help you to reach your goal. So book a time below. They're going to go quick, and looking forward to talking with you guys. Have a rock and roll week. We'll talk to you soon.